Hey everyone, Greg Getter here, and today's a really exciting day because as of this morning, my YouTube channel has 1,000 subscribers. This is so incredibly validating, and I want to thank you, each and every one of you, so much for subscribing to my channel and supporting me along the way. Now, this is just the beginning, but I feel 1,000 subscribers is a really important number because to me, it's the tipping point where this channel is starting to see consistent growth, and it really gives me a lot of motivation to keep posting videos day after day, week after week. Now, this video is going to be very off the cuff. I want to share what I've learned building a YouTube channel to 1,000 subscribers. It took me a while, but I think I have learned some of the tricks of the trade at this point. So for anyone else who's thinking about starting a YouTube channel or people who are wondering how to promote themselves, I want to talk about some of the things that I've learned about growing a YouTube channel. So before I get into anything else, I want to address the question of should you even trust me? My YouTube channel has just above 1,000 subscribers at this point, and there are other channels that have 10,000, 100,000, or millions of subscribers. So certainly there's a lot you can learn from them. But in entrepreneurship, I find that it's not only useful to learn from the greats, but it's also useful to learn from people who are just a couple steps ahead of you, because that slog, all the trouble it took to get to that first validation stage, a lot of that is often more present in the minds of people who are just a couple steps ahead of you compared to people who are hundreds of times ahead of you. So I'm just going to share my thoughts here. Feel free to disagree with them, but I have started to develop a formula that I think is working, and I'm going to continue to refine that formula over time. First, I want to touch on why I think more people should start a YouTube channel in 2020. Over the past few years, a lot of employment has shifted from being a full-time salaried employee working for a company for a very long time to more independent contractor or other freelance type gigs. And even for people who go the career route, you often see things like benefits shrinking, or the amount of time that people will stay in a specific company is also shortening up. So I think that it's really important for people to start promoting their ideas independently. YouTube especially has changed the media landscape from a very centralized model to one where literally anyone can go take out their phone and start recording a video and share it with the world. And I think that's really powerful, where you're not relying on the big media agencies anymore, but you're allowed to express your own ideas and position yourself as a subject matter expert. So I do think it's very strategic and very wise to start investing the time into positioning yourself on social media in general. And I still think that YouTube is a great opportunity because it has excellent search and so many people are familiar with the platform. Let's also talk about numbers, why I think 1,000 subscribers is really significant. So of course, some YouTubers say that you should not focus on numbers, but as an entrepreneurial type guy, for me, the numbers are actually a sign that I'm doing something right. So it's probably not wise to be like me and check the YouTube stats every hour, but I think you should keep an eye on them just to see how various videos that you put out are performing. And I think it's really powerful when you start to see those numbers creep up, when you go from 0 new subscribers a day to 1 or 2 new subscribers per day. And I'm even to the point where I have, more than 5 new subscribers per day. And that has been super validating. And 1,000 subscribers is very small in the grand scheme, but like I said before, I think it's the tipping point for growth into a YouTube channel. Like if you're able to make it to 1,000 subscribers, I think you can also, not easily, but it's really motivating to keep pushing past 1,000 and keep trying to grow your subscriber base. 1,000 subscribers is also significant because it's a major component in getting approved for AdSense or monetization. Now, of course, some people frown at having to watch ads on YouTube, but you have to consider that a typical video for me takes anywhere between 4 and 12 hours just to edit. So, it's a lot of time invested, and if I can really turn this into a career, I can do it on a regular basis, even if I'm doing something else as my main job. I currently work for one company and run another company, so I really have 3 jobs, and I consider YouTube one of them. But to be able to turn YouTube into a job of its own, I think it's really powerful because it opens up the door for so many new opportunities for people that did not exist before. And your subscribers having to watch ads is just a small price to pay for you consistently turning out content. Let's talk about finding a niche. If you look at my video history, it might seem like I'm all over the place. And I think that actually reflects who I am as a person. I have a lot of things that I'm interested in, and I have a lot of things that I want to talk about outside of what I typically have an opportunity to talk about. So it's a great opportunity for me to show the world some of the other things that I'm interested in. Now, some people this is much easier for because they decide right away that they want to go in talking about a specific topic, such as sleep or travel or coffee or anything else. But for me, I'm much more looking to put myself out there as a person, not to talk about a specific topic. Now, one thing I see with some more established YouTubers is if they've been uploading videos for so long into one topic. So if they always upload personal finance videos or travel videos, and then all of a sudden they decide to upload something that is not in line with their previous content, a lot of times they'll actually get criticism for what they've uploaded. And I think that's not fair at all, because as a person who likes to create, sometimes you just want to talk about something else, and you might even get burnt out by continually talking about the same thing. So it's not really fair that some audiences decide to pigeonhole people into certain topics, and I really think creators should be able to talk about what they want. Of course, a lot of this posting different stuff is about finding out what content works, what types of production styles work. So, this will probably get narrower over time, but for now, I'm going to keep talking about lighting, which is my one business, product management, which is what I do as a career, entrepreneurship, and anything else that really comes to mind, like travel and minimalism. All of those things are very interesting to me, and I still want to talk about all of them for the time being. Let's talk about consistency. I think this is one of the areas that really trips people up when they're getting started. And there's kind of 2 camps. The one is the perfectionist camp, where people will wait a long time because they feel like their current skill level is so far away from what they need to actually start posting. And the second is the lack of discipline camp. And I have to say that I probably fell into both of these camps to some extent. I have been uploading for a couple years now, but only consistently for the past few months. Some YouTube creators say that the YouTube algorithm rewards you for posting consistently. I'm not really sure if that's the case just yet, but what I will say that is if you post consistently, you learn more quickly what your audience likes, what gets views, what gets people to subscribe, and what engages and interests people. So I think it's really important to just establish some kind of consistency, whether it's once per month, once per week, or whatever else, where you can upload something. And the other thing is, you'll get so much better at quality over time if you just commit to consistently uploading. So you'll even see from some of my recent videos, sometimes there's a sound mistake, or I frame the shot oddly. You might even think my current framing is kind of weird. Well, this is all things that I'm learning over time, and I get better and better of it just through doing. So it's not like I came right out the gate being a perfect filmmaker, because I think very few people can do that. I think the better approach for most people is to just start, upload, and then every time between the videos, learn what you did wrong and try to get better at it. That is the approach that I would encourage you to take. Let's talk about quality and equipment, because this is probably the area that I get the most questions about. In my opinion, you should use what you have to start on YouTube. So almost every one of you watching probably has a smartphone. That is all you need to get started on YouTube. You should probably learn to use the camera in landscape mode instead of portrait mode, but once you do that, you literally can start on YouTube just by talking to your phone. Of course, the video quality and the sound quality is not as good as a $1,000 camera and a good mic, but you know what? The big thing is that you just start by publishing content and do the best with what you have, because you can actually make surprisingly good videos with just a smartphone. There have been whole movies that have been shot just on smartphones, and unless you really had a trained eye about cameras, you would think they looked great. Now, when you are ready to start investing in equipment, I would not start with the camera or the lighting. I would actually start with the sound. I think that the sound quality is going to make the biggest difference for your videos. So you can invest anywhere between about $50 all the way up to about $300 to get a pretty good microphone setup. You can check out my link to my microphone setup in the description of this video, but there are many other microphone setups that you could research and find out what works best for you. Then you probably also want to learn how to use audio editing programs like Audacity or Adobe Audition that will enhance the quality that you get coming out of your microphones. Even the audio that I get out of my pretty good microphones is still enhanced to sound even more natural and more like my actual voice. Then once you've invested in the sound quality, the next area I would say is invest in lighting if you can't just use the natural light. So what you should look into is this concept called 3-point lighting. There are plenty of videos here on YouTube about it. Learn about that and learn about the types of lights that would work best for your setup. Only after you've invested in the sound and maybe the lighting should you consider upgrading your camera. I'm really telling you that a smartphone camera can work pretty well, especially if it has a lot of light. Cameras like light, and even small sensors like what you'd find on a smartphone can look pretty good if they're lit well. There have been whole movies that have been shot just with smartphones, so it's more about you to learn how to use the equipment than you have than to upgrade your equipment. But if you are a gearhead like me and you do want to upgrade your quality, I don't think you really need to buy a $3,000 camera. There are plenty of good cameras in the sub $1,000 range. I currently use a Sony ZV-1, and what I really like about it is it has excellent specs, and it's a very compact and affordable camera for what it does. Is the ZV-1 the best camera ever? Of course not. There are many better cameras out there, but I think that this one, for me, hits the sweet spot in terms of quality, performance, and compactness. And it's not really that expensive. It's in the $800 range, but I'm really telling you, don't invest in the camera to start. Use your smartphone camera. With all that said, 1,000 subscribers is just the beginning, and I think there are so many more opportunities to learn and grow on YouTube, and I'm so looking forward to giving you my next milestone update, which I think will probably be around 10,000 subscribers. So I think we'll get there pretty soon based on the current trajectory. So I want to say thank you so much for watching. If you have any questions about my setup, my approach to YouTube, I love to hear them. And if you're starting out on YouTube, I'd love to hear about your journey as well. Hope you have a great day.